studio in the house upstairs in the loft, and I spent a couple of years up there actually in kind of developing the brand and working on formulas, and then I outgrew my loft and I found this studio and I moved in about a year ago.
Oh, a year ago. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have like a chemistry background? Or?
I don't. I'm self-taught.
Okay.
Yeah. So perfumery is something that I kind of stumbled upon by accident, really. I studied at LCC, the University of the Arts, and I did a surface design course there. So I worked with, a lot of printing, a lot of photography, and I kind of applied it in a way where it was relevant to homeware, mainly, I would say. So textiles and wallpaper, that kind of thing. And when I graduated, I worked with my presentation, and everything was really visual, and it really made me want to create like a multi-sensory experience where I could tell my story, but in an olfactory way.
Right.
And yeah, so I started to look into different ingredients and kind of played around with mixing a bit, and really got kind of caught by it and continued.
But how did it make you transition from, because you were actually learning about visuals, right?
Yeah.
And then, now it's something to do with scent, which is more like, I don't know, coming from your emotions.
Yeah, it's definitely connected to that. Growing up, I think I used my sense of smell more than other people do. Maybe that sounds a bit strange, but I assume that everybody used their sense of smell in the same way. And actually now
that's
I
a very
realize
interesting way
that
to put.
People always know me as the person that's always smelling things and always remember places through smell. And as I talk to people, I realize that not everybody is the same like that. So that I found that quite interesting, and also how when I was working visually, how I felt the need to also have a smell incorporated. Like that was almost as important as my prints and my patterns. It was the kind of the smell that came around with it. So at university, I would work visually, and my tutors would always like to see my kind of inspiration and my mood boards. And I worked, I took inspiration from my kind of Swedish heritage, but also my West African heritage. These old family photographs, which I can show you here. So these are the original pictures. And they just depict kind of my family in Sweden in the 60s and 70s. This is the parking lot outside the building where we grew up. Here's my sister outside the summer house that we had at the time. My auntie and uncle. So there's a whole selection of images. I use these and I put them on my mood boards and I colour pick them. So that's kind of where these the visuals and the color palettes come from, and they were the starting point for my fragrances. So I have imagery connected to each fragrance. The oils first, and I let them mature for up to 4 weeks, and then once that's done, then I add the alcohol. And then I let the oils and the alcohol macerate together for at least a couple of weeks, and then I bottle. So this is what the bottle looks like. So I fill it, I crimp with my crimping machine, which is here, and and then I package and label, and I do it in small batches, and then I put them out usually. So here I'm kind of halfway. So these need to be labelled and capped, whereas these are done here.
So everything is very handmade.
Oh yes, 100%. Definitely. It takes time, but I love it, and I get into a real rhythm of, blending and filling, and it's kind of, it's got a nice thing to it. I always try and listen to some good music, and kind of, I like to think that I put something of me into the bottles, and always make sure I'm in a kind of a nice place.
Is there a favorite music that you put on
Wow,
right now?
My favorite time to come in is on a Saturday, so I'll sit here and then I actually it's radio. I like listening to Radio 6. Giles Peterson comes on and I spend a couple of hours with him and it's great.